Salutations, everyone, and welcome to my second annual top 10 movies of the year for 2013. I did this a year ago for top 10 films of 2012, where I saw 30 movies and ranked my top 10. For this year, I saw 57, so up the ante a little bit. Obviously, I couldn't see every single film that was available, not even all the ones that I wanted to see, because, some are only available, in limited releases and such, but I tried to see as many as I could. And here's my top 10. For number 10, we have The Spectacular Now, starring Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley. I did a movie review of this earlier in the year when I saw the film, and it is absolutely spectacular. From the writers of 500 Days of Summer, which would have been my 2009 number one film of the year if I made a video that year. But an absolute amazing film. It's a coming of age story from not a perspective that we're really used to. The come of age stories that we're used to are, from like the lower down kids, like the loser kids who don't have friends or going through a hard time. This is actually about Mr. Popular Guy, the life of the party kind of a dude, and is really living in the now and doesn't really earmark any of his energy towards the future. It's all about having a good time and being young. Eventually meeting up with the not so typical nice girl Amy, played by Shailene Woodley, and with fantastic chemistry, a good, honest, mature coming of age story. I thought this film was very, very well put together. It was very, very natural performances. It was a very honest story, and I highly enjoyed it, and that's why it earns my number 10 spot for this year. Coming in at the number 9 spot is Rush, directed by Ron Howard, one of the surprises of the year. This film kind of snuck up on us. It didn't have like a whole lot of press or media attention attached to it, about the story of James Hunt and Niki Lauda in the 1970s IndyCar rivalry that they had, played by none other than Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl, who play absolutely spectacularly true to their characters that they're portraying in this film. Directed by Ron Howard, so you know it's going to be good. Very, very good action in this film. Stories told from both sides, from Niki Lauda as well as James Hunt, through this year, multiple years actually, of IndyCar racing, from the beginning of their careers to the ultimate race at the end of the championship year for Mr. Hunt. And I thought it was absolutely spectacular. Very, very well directed. Great editing, sound editing, great acting performances. I think Daniel Bruhl is getting a little bit snubbed here of his amazing performance as Niki Lauda. Very true to the character, a good accent, good writing, obviously, to go with the film, but it all comprised to a very, very well-told true story about these two racers from the 70s, and that's why it earns my number 9 spot on the year. The number 8 spot for 2013 will be filled by Star Trek Into Darkness, the sequel to the Star Trek reboot from 2009, and I thought it was a fantastic sequel to an already great franchise that is trying to reestablish itself with, reoccurring roles from Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, with a privy of other characters. And I thought it was a fantastic sequel. I thought it was a really great film. I'm not a Trekkie myself. I'm more of a Next Generation kind of guy anyways. But I thought that this was a fantastic follow-up. I mean, some people you're not ever going to be able to please because they have their standards at an unrealistic level that can only be met in their head by themselves. But I thought it was very good. Of course, Benedict Cumberbatch playing the role of Khan, I think, was very, very well done. Not just by Benedict Cumberbatch, but the role of the villain of Khan, being changed up here a little bit in this film. And I thought it was great. It was a fantastic villain whose actions were completely justified in what he was doing. Just made him a fantastic villain in this alternate universe of Star Trek. And I thought it was very, very well put together. Very enjoyable. Good elements all around, and a very worthy sequel, and it only gets people pumped up, me at least, for a third installment. So that's my number 8 film of 2013. 7th best film of the year to me was American Hustle, David O. Russell's follow-up to his fantastic film, Silver Linings Playbook, from last year. And this one, almost as good. A very, very good follow-up. Easily the strongest cast of any film this year, when you take a look at Bradley Cooper, Amy Adams, Jennifer Lawrence, Christian Bale's performances, as well as the rest of the cast. Very, very, very well done. It was a great story, fantastic writing, great direction, all-star cast. You just can't go wrong. If you have not seen this film, you definitely need to go out and see it. It's just a very, very fun, entertaining story from a different level. Occupying the number 6 spot is going to be The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. By far the biggest surprise of the year, for me at least, and I think it's the only film on my top 10 list that does not have a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but every now and again you're going to get a fantastic movie that people just do not understand. They just want to trash it for their own prejudicial reasons. And I don't see why. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty was easily one of the greatest films of the year, directed and starring Ben Stiller, based off of the short story of Walter Mitty, with a very, very active imagination. And I thought it was a fantastic job. Good, strong casting. A lot of people just didn't understand what this film was going for. Some people thought that they liked what they were trying to do, but weren't able to execute. And I thought the execution was great throughout, both the beginning leading up to the change that Walter goes through, and able to step up. And people like to say that it's just an over-exaggerated just carpe diem story, but I feel it's a lot more than that. It's a very touching story. It's very entertaining. It's very truthful, and just a fantastic spectacle that I think a lot of people glossed over and missed, or just didn't understand. Some people thought it was just a product placement film. It was very, very realistic, and I thought it was just a great story, told very well. Ben Stiller did a great job, both starring and directing in this film, and it's just goes to show that a lot of times people just don't know what they're talking about, especially when it comes to film, and they let good films slip by when they just don't really understand them. And really, there wasn't much to miss there, but they did. Taking the number 5 spot of the year is going to be Prisoners, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, Viola Davis. A great cast all around. Paul Dano as well, Maria Bello. It's a thriller. It's a crime drama. Absolutely intense. By far the most intense film of the year, even more so than higher films here on my list. But it was just such a great story. There was some mystery to it. Very, very dramatic. The performances from Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman, once again, being overlooked. Not saying that they should, win a bunch of awards, but they at least should be recognized for what they were able to pull off in this film, along with, Maria Bello and Terrence Howard and, just the rest of the supporting cast. Very, very well done. Very intense action and direction, and I thought it was just pulled together very, very well. Very enjoyable film. One of the best thrillers I've seen in a long time, and you guys should definitely check it out. Notching in at number 4 is Captain Phillips, directed by Paul Greengrass, starring Tom Hanks, the greatest actor of a generation. Really not a whole lot can go wrong here. They had good source material, and just a very, very, once again, a very good thriller. And the acting was what really pulled through. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the supporting actor of the leader of the Somali pirates, but very, very good breakthrough performance from him. I'm sure we're going to see more of him in the future. But, just great overall. It was very suspenseful. Even though you know what's going to happen, it still makes you always, at the edge of your seat. You're always paying attention. It's such a good narrative and a good story from a multitude of perspectives, and I thought just pulled everything together very, very well. The acting is what really provides the entertainment in this film. Of course, you can't go wrong with Tom Hanks. Like I said, the greatest actor of his generation, bar none. Does a fantastic performance as Captain Phillips. A good, strong supporting cast as well. Great direction. Paul Greengrass, just known to be able to provide this kind of storytelling in the best way possible for an audience to digest and really, feel something for the story and the characters and get, enthralled into it. And just a very, very good job all around. So that is my number 4 film of the year. Number 3 film of the year is definitely going to bring home a lot of awards this season, is 12 Years a Slave. Directed by Steve McQueen, very, very well-known, very good director. And I don't want to try to pronounce the name of the main character of Solomon Northup, but he's definitely going to get all of the praise that he deserves this coming award season. Fantastic tour de force performance, a great direction by Steve McQueen, a fantastic true story. 12 Years a Slave. It was kind of pushed back to when Uncle Tom's Cabin came out, a fictional story. So it's really good that such a great story has finally come more into the limelight and been able to attain the attention that it deserved in the past, and is able to stay true as a very good narrative today. A fantastic story of a free man who is kidnapped and sold into slavery for 12 years before he can finally get out of that hellhole. And just a great direction, great acting from the actor that I don't want to try to pronounce because I'll just butcher it. But also great, supporting cast with Michael Fassbender, as well as Benedict Cumberbatch, as well as Paul Dano, everyone all around. Brad Pitt, a little bit of a schmaltzy performance there, making himself the good guy. But overall, still a fantastic film. Very, very well done. It's definitely going to get all of the golden trophies that it deserves. And I thought it was a very fantastic film, but still the number 3 on the year. So let's get on to my top 2 films of 2013. Coming in at number 2 on my list is The Way, Way Back, a film not a lot of people had on their radar. A lot of people missed this absolute gem of a film. It was an independent film. It was a Sundance Film Festival selection starring Steve Carell, Allison Janney, Anna Sophia Robb, Sam Rockwell, Liam James as the lead character. A coming-of-age story of kind of like a really actual, like not a very likable character who kind of you see take the steps toward being the kind of person that he wants to be. It's a very honest, very mature, once again, very mature coming of age story that really anyone can digest. It's not like they don't try to sugarcoat a lot of the things. It's part of the story is very relatable, very realistic, something that a lot of people do go through. And I thought it was just superbly well done. Good, strong supporting cast. A very, very good story with an original storyline. Liam James as the lead character did a pretty good job. Anna Sophia Robb as the love interest. And Sam Rockwell definitely not getting the attention that he deserves for this film. In my book, would be an nominee for Best Supporting Actor. Does an absolutely spectacular job in this film, The Way, Way Back. Just a fantastic film all around. Good cast, great story. Very, very honest. I really like the ending because it's not too schmaltzy. It's not a Hollywood ending, but it's very realistic, and it's just a progression. The story is all of a progression from the characters, and you get to see things change. Sometimes not for the in a good way, but in the end, for the better. So that's why it gets my number 2 spot on my films of 2013. And with my number 1 film of the year of 2013 is 42, starring Chadwick Boseman, Harrison Ford, Stanley Tudyk, a privy of other great supporting roles, and is absolutely a fantastic film about Jackie Robinson, an American hero, an American legend, a story that needs to be told as often as possible because it needs to be heard, needs to be listened. The role that this man played in American history, not just in sports, not just in his own personal experience, which is attributed very, very well to how Chadwick Boseman portrayed it, as well as the writing and directing of this film, but just what it meant, what his struggle meant, what he was able to grow through and persevere that nobody else really had to, in the capacity, in the spotlight that Jackie Robinson had to do, and the fact that he was able to perform at a level that he performed at. I mean, there was a little bit of problems with the film. It made him seem more like a power-hitting first baseman than a speedy second baseman. But nonetheless, an absolutely fantastic film. It takes all of the pivotal points of the Jackie Robinson story that needs to be addressed and just did it beautifully. Harrison Ford, totally the biggest snub not being nominated for Golden Globe. Hopefully he does get nominated for the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. As Branch Rickey, fantastic job. Harrison Ford's by far his greatest acting performance of his career. Chadwick Boseman, this is definitely going to, should skyrocket him to, an upper echelon of actors to get more roles like this. And I think that is going to happen for him because 42, definitely one of the greatest films in the year and my personal number one film of 2013. So that's all I have for you guys. Stay tuned for more video reviews and top 10s and top 5s. I'll review every single film, all 57 that I saw this year, in an episode later, hopefully tomorrow or the next day. And until then, I hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to leave your comments below of movies that you thought that I missed in my top 5 comments and what you think I should see in the future. Otherwise, 2014 looks to be like a huge year for movies. 2013, not gonna lie, was a little bit of a downer when you compare to the amazing films that came out in 2012. None of my movies in my top 10 can even crack 2012's top 5. That's how great 2012 was. And 23, a little bit downer. Definitely the year of the flop. There's a lot of flops this year. But, every year is going to bring you some good quality movies, and 2013 definitely delivered. Not in the capacity that previous years have, but I think 2014 is definitely going to be a very, very, very good year for film. So I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are as well. And as always, this is Razor. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.